think it's me introducing the text, but I love that the mind doesn't kick in. That's why the recording is. I press it before anything kicks in. It's for us to stay in the heart.
So you don't think about it, and it's as the conversation goes, you can choose when to.
Yeah, it's co-creation. No, it's really being in the heart and sharing, having a conversation from there. Yes. So you asked me if I was a philosopher.
Yes, I stated you're a philosopher. I know you have a PhD in philosophy, and you must be philosophically minded.
Yes.
Tell me more about your passion for philosophy and what sort of philosophies, because it's like these days it opened up a lot. Like obviously in academia, we learn certain schools of philosophy, academic philosophy, but I think a lot of us philosophers, we got tired of the academic approach to philosophy, and now we have all these like hermetics and new age and all of those different esoteric aspects of philosophy.
Yes.
And I think I have much to say about that, but I'm definitely myself, I'm interested in going beyond the simply rationalizing, logical positivist types, dry. But at the same time, there's a lot of like wishy-washy, woo philosophies that are not really philosophies, and people is kind of there's a like it's interesting for us philosophers these days because in a way our ideas are starting to have currency in the mainstream, right? Because everyone's confused, everyone wants to be able to make sense of things better, but it's not so easy if you haven't trained for a while.
Yes. In my case, it's it's actually a doctorate in philosophy, but it was more related to my dissertation, which was about socially conscious leadership. We are love, uniqueness, and co-creation. And that's why I have the doctorate.
Aligned. So it's aligned with what you're doing now.
Yes, it's aligned. Actually, I started with socially conscious leadership, and at the end, it's heart leadership, it's self leadership, it's true leadership, it's authentic leadership. No, I gave it the name of socially conscious leadership, but I started with it already some time ago, about I think 2018, 2019. It came to me, and also I started with the Bachelor of Metaphysical Science at that time. So I did the bachelor, and then I did the master in metaphysical science, where I did the
metaphysical science. What is that?
Well, at the end, it's wider than religions. It's
right. But that's in Spain.
No, through the University of Sedona in the US.
In the US. Oh, so they have stuff like that?
Yes.
Metaphysical science? Because that would be in England, that would be considered heresy. How can you mix these things? Right? Because they're very empirical.
It's wider, but it's in the education system, in the US. It's really in the
Yes.
And actually, when I did the bachelor, I turned out to be, when I finished it, I'm a minister. In the US, I'm able to marry people. If I would
you can marry people. You're a minister. Really?
Yes, I'm a minister.
That's fascinating. So you have a degree which gives you like a priesthood type authority.
Yes, I can do my own church or religion.
Cool.
Let's
say. You can set up a cult.
No, but for me, that's why. For me, this is socially conscious leadership. Is really the being in freedom and the creating with love, no, through who you are. For me, this is who we all are, no? That's our limitless potential. So I started with the metaphysical because of that, with what I had envisioned. So I said it will be okay because it's since in the US it's in the educational system, and I will have a diploma that says I can talk about that. No one can.
You're a credentialized metaphysician.
Yes, I am.
A scientist metaphysician.
I am.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Like
Yeah.
every metaphysician would like to have a degree of being a scientist, metaphysician.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yes, yes, yes.
But then,
And
yeah, but then the empiric, then the hard scientist would say this is nonsense, right? Did you find
uh,
did you find any like biologists, physicists, like the hard scientists? They would say like, what are you talking about?
but
You
we
know,
find it everywhere every day.
yeah, we do, but some people are very well isolated from this way of
Yeah.
thinking, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
yeah, it's a funny time, but it's interesting to learn that there are courses like this and which is
Yes.
and because I suppose yeah, I suppose like I've gone through a very maybe it's just the tradition that my understanding was that the majority of, and I think it is the case, the majority of philosophy in the West and English speaking and even German speaking, I think in Germany
Mm-hmm.
now, it's analytic philosophy. Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's dominant. That's the household kind of in English
Yes.
speaking world, right?
Yes.
But obviously that doesn't mean that there are no courses in different, like alternative. Yeah. But I just felt like there's little out there, but
Yeah.
obviously there are courses. Yeah.
Yeah, there are courses. And I did that. And then when I was going to do the doctorate, I found there's one in philosophy. And it's called, it's in philosophy and it specializes in conscious living. So I said, oh, that's superb because that goes aligned with the socially conscious leadership, no? And
Uh-huh.
that's when I wrote the dissertation and I got the doctorate.
Oh.
Yeah, but at the end, it says philosophy is really also our way of living, no? It's um, it's implementing what you
Yeah,
believe
living it
in
out. That's
and
what I
living
was
it out. Yes.
frustrated. I need to tell you, like I was, yeah, well, I'm Polish, so I started
Mm-hmm.
studying philosophy in my early 20s in Poland, but then I moved to the UK and it took me a while before I could actually go back to philosophy. I studied music actually, and I had, played music and stuff. But then it had always been my dream to actually do philosophy in English at like good university. And I ended up, it took me like, it took me what, 2005? Yeah, it took me like 12 years, to
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
get to the point of like, okay, so now I live in London. I found the right course. Because I like the philosophy of life, like what you're talking
Yes.
about. It's like
Yes.
the Germans, Hegel, Nietzsche, Heidegger, the German idealism. So they were very, it's the science and it's the spiritual aspect too. And it's like that was as far as I can tell, the most evolved form of philosophy in the world, like in the West, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
up until time before it got crushed by the banking cartel,
Yes.
into
Yes,
the
I
World
know.
War One.
Yeah.
But I think I was very disillusioned with when I joined the course, and those are like experts, worldwide experts in Nietzsche and those topics. But the way I had to do it in analytic tradition,
Mm.
which is the tradition which those philosophers rejected, really. So
Mm-hmm.
you're being assessed in content, which by speaking the language of what that content is criticizing. It's like, it was such a
Yeah.
well, it was very good because like analytical writing, being analytic, really makes you sharpen your intellect, like sharpen
Mm-hmm.
your skills, your critical
Mm-hmm.
skills. So that was great, but you can't really do the embodied thing, like what you're saying. Like you cannot really, we're doing, let's say, moral philosophy, and I'm supposed to write an essay, and I read a bunch of theories. Hang on, I need to give me half a year. Let me implement it into my life.
Mm-hmm.
Make some decisions.
Yeah.
See how it affects my relationships and my
Mm-hmm.
ethical consciousness. Then I can start writing something, and not like you give me. 3 months, and I'm supposed to be delivering you a nice essay. Like I can deliver a neat essay, but it will be meaningless because it's not. There's no practice. There's no embodiment of those, right? So it was super frustrating, and I felt like I was very disillusioned. That's why I did not. I ended up not wanting to do a PhD. I felt
Mm-hmm.
academia is dead for me after that,
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I just want to live life and live my philosophy, and I was sad because that used to be my dream, to
Yeah.
work at academia and do research and so on. And I found different options now. I can do these
Yeah.
things kind of even more freely and independently of these like collapsing institutions. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was I guess disillusionment with not being able to live the philosophy.
Yes.
I think that's the widespread problem.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. In my case, it's really, um, I loved it because I didn't have to go through this academia
Mm.
of the analytical part. It was mere for me to read books and research and create my dissertation, no? And it took me a while because but to create, to show really that we are love, uniqueness, and co-creation, no, through all the research I've done. So I loved it because I am embodying it, and this is at the end our we are what we want to see in the world. That's a new leadership, no?
Mm.
It's really being who we are, no, and create what we from who we are, what we love.
Mm.
And I was able to do that, to write it down, and then get a doctorate about that,
While
So yeah,
practicing
yeah, while
it.
practicing it, because it was, for me, it was very nice since I had those 4 years before with the master and with the bachelor and the master. I already knew I was going to do a doctorate of socially conscious leadership. No, so I already had been investigating before and already living what I believe. No, so that
Mm.
I was able to write down through what I've been experiencing.
That's great because then now you can use it. It's fully coherent with your mission, right?
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah, that's
yes. I
amazing.
love it.
And I think I agree. It seems like I was never concerned about leadership as such, like as a topic. I
Mm-hmm.
did lead. I mean, I rejected multiple professional positions because of I felt like I don't align with the values or I don't want. So leadership, perception of leadership, I usually like rejected, but then yeah, I led a band, I guess, and now after COVID, we realized how little leadership is left actually in humanity,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? And it's like, and it's a lot of people talking about it, but few people actually doing it. So
Yes.
I think I realized that, and people started telling me as well that and that it's leadership. I was like, I never considered myself leadership. Like I'm not some kind of business talk. I'm a philosopher. I don't do that. But then actually what you're saying that simply being standing in your truth and being authentic to yourself and trying to like um be honest. Well, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
just trying to be authentic,
And integrity. And in integrity.
having like being able to demonstrate a degree of integrity, it's by itself in the world full of lies and deception
Mm-hmm.
becomes the
Mm-hmm.
only viable leadership. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not that you can technically learn it. It's not a technical skill.
No, no.
It's integrity. It's like it becomes it's the structure of your character. It's your character itself. So it's the ethical integrity of the individual.
Yes.
And that what it does is people people have no choice because it's a very deep-rooted tribal um, like a trait in human beings. Like if there's little you can trust, and you see that there's evidence of trustworthiness,
Mm-hmm.
you align with that,
Mm-hmm.
whether you like it or not. You may be politically misaligned, but then your body will make you want to align with that because that's safety, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
If
Mm-hmm.
if someone says what they do and they do what they say, then when there's so much lies and deception, then people just align with it, because
Yeah.
that's since the cave, times of when we were in the cave, we had to follow these. That's how we evolved into communities. And
Yeah.
now everything's being fractured and polarized. So this is very powerful, and you don't really have to do anything. And there's like courses, leadership course, and this is like
No.
people trying to sell me is like,
No.
what's the point? It's
Yeah.
not technical, and everyone's got brainwashed into thinking like no one can think outside of technical mindset,
No.
calculating things and technically learning and technically training. And I think that all of that paradigm is over, and now it's like, just do you show up authentically or do you not? And does it bring value? Is it a coherent? Do you have a mission? Do you have a vision that is a coherent thing that people can draw value from or not? Right?
Yes. Yes.
Simply, and with no tricks, like, because all tricks get exposed
Yes.
immediately.
Yes. No, it's really being who you are, and not really. We've been leadership has been misleading us, no, in believing you have to follow a guru, a leader, or whatever. At
Mm.
the end, it's follow yourself, grow yourself, be who you are, get rid of everything you've learned, observe what's happening around you, how you feel and how you're impacting. Do good, because you're as soon as you are who you are in your heart, you will be doing good, no? But all these things like love, doing good, leadership, now co-creation, I saw they're taking those words and they banalize them and use them in
Them into their
politics.
own corporate ideologies.
Yes, and
Yeah.
when in reality, um, love is not this superficial love. Uniqueness is really everyone is unique, and you cannot box it in anywhere. And co-creation comes from the being, from the heart. When two people or more come together and co-create something without a goal, it's like our conversation. No, we
Yeah,
don't know
with
what we're
no
going to talk.
right, with no calculated objective.
No, no, with
Simply
no final
enjoying,
goal.
yeah,
Just
meeting another human
being.
because you align in a certain way.
Yes, and then you're being, you're having a conversation, and you are respecting all the point of view of the other one, and you are just co-creating something from the heart, no, not from the mind, in the heart.
Right.
So leadership happened as the same thing. Leadership was we were told, well, that's like you're saying, train yourself in the leadership. Be this, no, be you, and
That's
then you're a leader for yourself and everyone else.
Yeah, I think it just sounds, because you know what, I do believe that it will have to be conscious ladies that lead humanity in the future, because like men, I happen to be quite autistic, so I'm in touch with my feminine aspect. I'm not like, I guess, most men, so I can recognize these aspects. Uh, but I think a lot of men, that's the thinking we've had for 2,000 years or more. Some people argue 10,000. We had, like, yeah, it's gonna be technical, this. I don't do it unless I have evidence in advance. And it's like, no investment doesn't work. And it's like,
Yeah.
all of these things are collapsing now, these ways of
Mm-hmm.
thinking, but they are
Mm-hmm.
embedded so deeply in the structures, in organizations, in bureaucracies, and all of that. Yeah. And
Yes.
and I think it's just really, and then it even colonized the minds of women, like the minds of women in charge of, like, up there in the upper echelons of power. They still have to follow that pattern of basically very rationalistic point of view, not from the heart, like, and heart also seems quite fluffy and woo and new age. And I would also like to bring the aspect of, to say, love. Yes, I think that is one threat, that everything is becoming really sedated these days, it
Mm-hmm.
seems, with
Mm-hmm.
AI, with artificial, with
Mm-hmm.
marketing, with, you know and there's so much fear that it really crushes the genuine, commitment, like a loving disposition towards, well, even love, like doing what you love, like that's a love, that's
Yes.
it's not an interpersonal thing, it's any
No.
aspect of being, like, doing something out of conviction. uh, But that also means, and people never bring it up, because everything is all, we all like propagandize each other and ourselves. Like
Yes.
it's all one side. But love also
Compare.
comes with conflict, because you have to stand for what you believe in. If you love
Mm-hmm.
something, you will defend it. And we also have this problem that, you know, the tools we developed are more powerful than any war can. They can't sustain any war, because there's going to be, if there's war like what we're facing now, it's the existential threat to the whole species, right? But
Mm-hmm.
then, you know, like Huxley's Brave New World, there is peace, but there's
Mm-hmm.
no love. So what do you want? We are trapped between total peace of no of a non-human post society, no humans, just like genetically engineered,
Yeah.
modified post-human drones, or a loving individuals with a terrible threat of global extinction because of the implied warlike, you know, warrior aspect of being loving. So
Mm-hmm.
what do you think about that? Do you like it? Does it make sense? Like this frame, like between, if you have, if there's no, well, you can have peace but no love, or you can have love but there's always and it implies conflict because you have to defend what you love.
But do you think that when you are in love, embodying love, where there's oneness, you will have to defend? If many are embodying love, so that really means um, respect, loving, valuing, respecting yourself, and loving, valuing everyone else, because at the end you understand everyone else is your mirror, everyone else is part of who you are. We are oneness, so
Mhm.
everything is connected. So if we are like that, why do we have to defend ourselves? There will be a peace. I always say there might be, and we're going through that. I think we're going through a tunnel to go
Mm.
into there. We will have to pass through so that everything crumbles
breaks
down, no?
breaks apart,
But
yeah.
but also another thing, I don't, when you are love, you don't play the games of the war, of the things that are there. You see them, you observe them, you know what exists, but you don't play. You're not a player in that game, no? So you don't fight that. And as you
Right.
don't fight it, you don't give it energy. But you see
Yeah,
how,
well, ideally you don't want to. Well, what if a predator knocks on your door and
yes,
wants,
then you
then
have
then
to,
then you get raped, or you
yeah,
kill them, right?
you have to
So you have
defend
to pick
yourself.
up your sword. Like
Yes.
every loving individual has to be able to pick up the sword.
Yeah.
And I
Yes.
think not that you will do it, you will do everything not to do it.
But you have to, if you have to, you
Presence
do
of the
it.
predator, yeah, exactly. In presence of the predator, you still have to be able to wage war.
Yeah.
And yet, so unless everyone is already conscious
Mm-hmm.
in you know, like if the whole of humanity is transformed in this way, fine, there's no predation.
Yes.
But I mean, how likely is that? I mean, it's
Yes.
necessary, in a way it's necessary, but before that happens, we'll still have to be able to wage war to the we have to defend what we love. Simply, it's just the reality, because we haven't left this paradigm. This paradigm is still here. It's
Yes.
dying, but it's still present. So
Yes.
so I think it's just a sober realization on my part. Like I've been struggling with it, you know, for a long time. So I also, like when I tutor in philosophy and I go through these classic philosophical problems like just war, you know, like Aquinas and yeah, and I go through very smart young people, and they surprise me with how they can think about it. But yeah, these are really, as like the problem of evil is another one. There's always polarities. Like, how can you
Mm-hmm.
have a world without polarity?
Yes.
So I don't know. Like, you tell me, because I'm very curious, and I know that we are at the stage from which we cannot really conceive of what will be next. We are not in the at the evolutionary stage to even assume what might be next.
Yes. We
And
don't.
it's completely incompatible with our little
Yes.
understanding of the world right now. So that much I know. There are more unknowns than we would like to think.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, but tell me, because from our perspective, like it seems like if we just want love and peace, it's just like utopia, right? From the
Yeah.
way we understand the world. That's like
Yeah.
all the like totalitarian regimes are based on that. It's just, yeah, we just do this little thing, we just get rid of those people, or we make everyone do this thing, and then everything will be happy. Right?
Yeah.
Everyone will be
But you
happy,
are
right? And
boxed
and
in.
you actually create, you boxed in, and because you boxed in, life rebels and life creates so much violence that the whole system collapses.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
But in what I see, I think there's a lot of speaking about timelines.
Mm. In
Okay.
the spiritual communities, I know, yeah.
Yeah, and for me, I say we are able to co-create different timelines. Let's say timelines at the end are things that for me it's a another way, another possibility, no, of things happening.
Yeah. Like,
So in what we hear and see with our little mind, we might see only those options, but there might be more options. And for me, what I say is I really don't know what's going to happen, and I don't know anything. No, at the end, we don't know anything, but it's by the living in the moment that we create the future, no, and the decisions we take in the now. So if we live now, 100% here, and we choose 100% here, what through this beingness, some doors might be open that I'm not able to envision now, or
I
timelines.
think.
So it's the same thing as when we started with the COVID, no? It's, oh, you have to do certain things because then you're not able to travel. You're not able to do this. You're not able to do this. Who says we're not able to do this? There's always another way of doing things. And there's always a way out. Another way. I don't know a way out, but another way.
Unseen
So,
possibilities.
uh-huh. Unseen possibility because they're not talked about it, so for you not to see them,
Mm.
and for you to uh, be in fear and take actions to what you're being told. But at the end, if you discern your inside and you wait and you are in your pace, you go slowly,
Yeah.
and you observe, there will be other ways. So for the future, I see the same thing. I don't know what it's going to be. I trust it. I trust that we will go in what I see, this ambition, this world of co-creation, no, through our
Yeah.
uniqueness. And I don't know how we will get there, because we never know how we will do things, no, or get there. Because for me, the important thing is to, in the now, to choose what you believe in, what you feel, no, what you are, through who you are.
Uh-huh.
And new ways will open up, new future opens up. It's something I haven't seen now because I don't know.
Yeah, well, I get it, because that's obviously, there's a reason why we're meeting, and this is what made me. This was my choice, because it all boils down. It again, it boils down to this integrity aspect of not wanting of the worst thing for you being losing your integrity, and that's how the COVID-19 policy was structured, to
Mm-hmm.
break integrity for the sake of pleasure, or for the sake of maintaining your addictions, or
Yes.
maintaining. So if you had integrity, you were punished. So
Yes.
then that means you have to accept the sacrifice for the sake of your character. And in fact, as a result of that, then you emerge triumphant, because you've just strengthened your character even more
Yes.
as on the way out. And
Yes.
then the 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 culprits of, the agents of, the how shall we call them, that the functionaries of the new normal regime, let's call
Yeah.
them, you know abused law and abused everything that could be sacred otherwise.
Yes.
Um, and in the end, if you don't retaliate, but actually return and just let them acknowledge what has just happened, then they've just deprived themselves of power. They've just deprived themselves of legitimacy,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
In the absence of you retaliating. So there's an aspect of, I guess, like silent forgiveness, but also we want accountability, because without accountability, you can't have a relationship. Right?
True. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
another paradox I'm kind of struggling with,
Yeah.
because people say, yeah, you shouldn't blame. Yeah, it's not about blaming. It's about accounting for reality as it presents itself, and giving people the chance to own the actions,
Yes.
but the structures which are bound to collapse allow them for maintaining the lack of integrity.
Yes. 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 And but that's why it's falling,
Yeah, it's
because
right. Yeah,
many are seeing people that didn't see before their lack of integrity, or their or their just, I don't know, banalizing, or people are seeing that they didn't see before, no? So they're seeing all this, um what's behind, no? What's really moving
again.
them
What
in the game.
what
Yeah.
the game was like, yeah. So there was a protocol there,
Yeah.
right? There was a
Yeah.
protocol which made them do things, and they thought they were choosing the right thing. And it turns out to be kind of they're trapped now, because they
Yeah.
can't say anything unless they admit. But if they admit, maybe they go to prison. So we can't admit. So
Yeah.
they're double binded.
Yeah.
They are, whatever they do is wrong thing. If they stay quiet, they are victims of their own incompetence,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yes.
And if they're not quiet, they create a threat of being persecuted for the crimes they committed.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Crimes against life,
Yes.
which is above all man-made law,
Yeah, the natural law.
right?
You and me are
Simple.
very aligned.
Yeah, I think even it's purifying to be able to articulate these things, which is that, this technology, Zoom technology, is great, because in a way you can connect with people you otherwise you would never meet, but you
Yeah.
meet in certain context. You meet in the context of whatever the content we might have seen of each other's work, and
Yes.
then we meet, and there's this like immediate intimacy, like humanity never had that before. We never had
Yes.
that before. So we can articulate these thoughts, like, very frankly. No one's forced to watch this or not
No.
watch this. This is for us, right?
Yes. Yes.
But it is so it's magnificent, isn't it? Think about, like,
Yes.
for how many centuries people were burnt on stakes and genocided and whatnot, and they had no one, like, they could not connect. And now we're like, oh, now there's lots of people actually. It's not like
Yes.
I'm not a stranger. It's like there's lots of people around the planet,
Yes.
right?
And
And it's
it's
that.
this, yes, or it's this connection one to one. I'm sitting in where you are, you're sitting where I am, and it's just opening up, no, and sharing openly,
Right, and making it public, which
and
is
making it
brilliant.
after public.
So it's like, so the meeting is, look, so it's like a communing with humanity, because we
Yes.
actually we there is one-on-one right
Yes.
now in this time, in this chronos time,
Mm-hmm.
this literal time. But then the in the wider sense, once this is copied and this is
Yes.
is multiplied and is being streamed and released to
Yes.
the World Wide Web, there is no time,
No.
actually. It just exists in that timeless space,
Yes. Yes.
available for people to just even them to give them courage. It's like, these
Mm-hmm.
people seem to be saying these things, and nothing happens to them. They're just enjoying their life. So
Yes.
that was an illusion, actually. It's a
Mm-hmm.
bullshit, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
Like, you're not
Yes.
supposed to say this or that. It's like, you're not harming anyone.
No.
You're supposed to be authentic and yeah, live your life, to the fullest.
Yes, yes. And be of service, to yourself and
Yeah, be of
everyone
service. Like,
else.
I think that's critical. That I had to establish for myself during the past 4 years. Like, what is the thing I'm actually like? What is the service? What? No, even like to yeah, I knew I'm being in service is more fulfilling and satisfying than grabbing stuff for yourself. Obviously, that's not so advanced to realize that, which is still not so obvious for many people. But
Mm-hmm.
still, I think we had to set up like what is the supreme core value, which will then determine the direction and determine the choices. Yeah. So for me, it was yeah, service to humanity. But what about you? What do you have like hierarchy of core values? Like when you had to like you put against the wall and you have to make a decision and you need to be kind of have that clarity. What wins with everything else in terms of what is the most sacred thing for you
Me, really,
in
it's
your
like
mission?
and my mission is really being of service to something bigger than what I am. So I came here to be of service. I don't know what it is. So for me, it's really listening to the intuition and responding to them and acting upon them and create through that. But I'm in service of something bigger. So my integrity of my body of defending it comes because I'm in service of something bigger than I am, and not this Jeannette, this avatar, this thing. It's really I'm here for something bigger. It's not ego, bigger, nothing. It's just I'm in service. So as I'm in service, I'm honoring what I'm learning and what the relationships I have, and everything. So I cannot hurt the body or go against my integrity because I'm going to go against of the service. So it's
Mhm.
the same. If I'm in the in between the wall and the door, and I will listen. I'm in service. It's not Jeannette.
Mhm. Yeah, but in service of what? Because you need to know.
I'm service of my higher self. I'm service of so really I'm an avatar here. Learning,
Yes.
growing, and supporting um, others through my being, my
Hmm.
growing through through the inspiration I get through what I can support others, whatever it means. No, I don't know what I will be doing. I don't know my final purpose. I don't know it, but I'm here, um, growing and responding to whatever has to be. If I have to move somewhere, because it's my calling to move somewhere else from where I am today, I might have to do that. This.
Yeah,
That's
you
why
need to
I
submit your will to your higher calling
yeah
and do whatever necessary, whatever
yeah
is necessary.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that is, yeah, that idealism is very much needed, and it's emerging. It's more and more of it, I think.
Yes.
But you know what? Yeah, that young people seem to be. Because I still teach. I have a regular teacher job, like a quarter time, and yeah, young people seem very lost, and they don't want kids, and they're like, yeah, for it's easier for us. We were born before, yet before the Instagram and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
someone's born into Instagram and
Mm-hmm.
and no one taught them history. No one taught them like the deeper
The
things
values and things,
about
no?
values and human, like, yeah. Even if they have the values, yeah, they are committed, but there's no understanding of if they don't have kids, there will be no humanity. So like there's just this this nihilism, this very kind of passive nihilism, I would say, not an active conscious nihilism, but like just submitting to the most viable thing they can do in light of what they understand the world to be, which is not great because the world is actually, there's not like we have a good, it's reasonable to plan a family in our climate right now, right? But there's something even more terrifying, which is that there won't be enough humans and we'll be like outnumbered by humanoid robots and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
So it's like I just feel like increasingly, there's this big mission just simply like to maintain the idea of family and the idea of just making life, because life is, there's a real threat to us, not through like us in our countries, maybe not through like genocide and war as much as through, which is more certain, through simply not breeding enough and being a sterile, becoming sterile.
Yeah.
Although I don't know, like different races that breed, like just the West, the whites don't really breed much now.
Yeah, the white belt.
Yeah. So now there will be humans, but
But no, but I think also it's at home, no, I guess also because there's no, everyone is working and there's no this father figure, mother figure that they see this the morality and the family,
the
what we
dynamic.
had, no, what we had
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
And not because they're working, it's just because the parents don't have the time to explain all those things. So education, schools are, or social media are the ones taking over, and that's why they things like that. But also looking back, when I was young, I was also quite lost in the not in the family or not, but in the way of um being for others and not myself, no, until one day I woke up and I said I love myself and I start looking
Yeah,
inside,
like people
you know.
pleasing, because
Yeah,
that's the
yeah, and
they
looking
just
outside always for the others and not yourself, no, at the
right,
end
and
everything
that's
starts
just as
from within.
destructive.
So
Uh,
I hope that one day those youngsters also one day they wake up. Everyone has their time and maturity to understand things and know that not necessarily what you're told is the truth. At the end, it's you have to search for your own truth.
mm.
No?
Yeah, they do have time, don't they?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah. I think overall, I'm with you. I think somehow I used to be very pessimistic, nihilistic about humanity. I had no hope for humanity. Like 15 years ago, I just looked around and was like, this is just on its way down. Like no one understands, no one knows. People laugh at me when I'm worried. Okay, so it's death. Like so, I just thought I'd just write a book about how humanity is going extinct, and that will be the work of my life, And then when the COVID hit, all those people emerged, and like all those individuals, like wow, so many people, and I have these calls, and like people tell me they're doing this project and that project, and they have the biotech, and they have this, and it's like wow, there's all this stuff, and
Beautiful.
suddenly it's like okay, so it seems for all those people who thought we're just heading towards utopia and is the best society ever, brainwashed with the kind of
Yeah.
techno optimist perspective. We're
Yes.
just the best society that ever existed. We have great toys, and suddenly all of that collapsed. The blind, the totemic kind of worship of science devolved into scientism, and all of that collapsed. But but then I realized, okay, so now those people who really believed they were doing the right thing in the false reality, in this simulation, they suddenly wake up and realize, oh no, it's not working out. And now they have to do all this thinking and all this
Yeah.
realizing and all these trials and
Yes.
like all the trial of fire, actually, like having to face all of those things. So
Yes.
it's a long way to go. And while I just thought, this is amazing because there's so many people doing things, and finally, and we have the technology, and we have like this authentic possibility to relate to people and also like do business together and different projects. So something that before would have been for me like just a hippie talk, like, yeah, what are you
Yes.
talking about? Look at this world. Look how
Yeah.
fucked it is. As suddenly became like now those people, those optimists from 10 years ago tell
Yes.
me, no, man, is like, oh, I think humanity is dead. I was like, are you
No
crazy?
way.
You have no clue. You have no idea. But you just, because you started seeing something, it made you depressed. It made you pessimistic.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I've seen it for 20 years.
Yes.
So for me, it's nothing new. But what is new is that in the context of that absolute crisis, um, there are individuals and groups of individuals and little tribes who have done the homework, and now they are working towards post-collapse scenario, right? Like just building the new
Yes.
structures, building new ways of being and relating and so on. And it's a real practical reality, and not just some wishy-washy
No.
utopia.
No.
Yeah.
No. 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 And we are told we are not many, but in reality, we are many. It's
Oh,
every day we find someone new. Every day we find someone with another um, point of view of being and doing from there.
right.
So it's so beautiful. It's really beautiful.
Mm.
And there's a
Fascinating.
movement. There's
It
light.
is. And and also if you understand the network dynamics with the technologies that we have, and all you do is you leave this video there,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and it just does the job, and it's available. And how many more people do that? And then just think of, you post something on social media. I remember once they stopped it now on LinkedIn, but I remember once a while ago now, maybe 2 years, I had a post, and it was like something like 40 reactions, and then I checked who saw it, and it was like a government. So that's how much it takes. And anyone, a random person who happens to gather some attention, and the message, you can't unsee it. You don't have to like
Yeah.
it, dislike it. You
No.
have seen it.
Yes.
It is affecting your consciousness now.
Yes.
And it provokes conversations, and provokes shifting mindsets and so on. So yeah, I think it's unstoppable, because it's like once you break the trust, like you can't just fix it. Like it's done.
No. No.
Right? You
That's
can't
it.
return. You can't return to it, and the trust has been broken, and it's
Yes.
being continuously like what was implicit, what we had to dig for, the information we have to kind of go like to spend substantial amount of time and training, and to discover. Now it's becoming all explicit, and even though, let's say, the mainstream agencies and mainstream um, official narratives often don't acknowledge these phenomena, they still are present in the consciousness already. So the job is done. It's just a matter of time, isn't it?
Yes. Yes. I love that. I love that. And that's co-creation.
Yeah. It's just that we
Because
don't yet have the systems to actually assign the currency to the value of that work yet, because the systems are hooked to mostly things that are mostly meaningless, or destructive or harmful
yeah,
still.
stays
But
there.
like you said, but it's collapsing because you can't sustain the illusion anymore.
No.
It's not sustainable. There's no,
Yeah.
yeah, you can't sustain that anymore.
Yeah.
It's technically impossible. So yeah, the building of new currency, having, for me, it is, yeah, the strength of the human relationship. So when I work with my
Yes.
clients, I always say that when I introduce people to my company, I say we care about the relationship. So the currency is trust. The currency is respect. Currency is, there is no long contract. We have few rules we both
Yes.
obey, and the fewer the rules, the better. So
Yes.
the point is that we recognize each other as individuals, and it's not just about money. Money is the outcome of a strong relationship.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. And
trust.
there are still people doing it the other way around, and that they fail miserably because yes, I was recently presented with an agreement which consisted of double bind. I was like, why would I want to get abused by a double bind? Like, no, I can't sign
No,
this.
no, no. No. I love it. And it's just relationships and trust. Yes. I love that.
That it's simple. It's the life is so much easier.
Yes. It's what we, at the end, it's in the being. It's everything to grow is through relationships, no? Relationship with yourself and relationship with everyone else. They're mirroring and well, you cannot grow without that. And then there's the trust because you're building relationships. Yes. I'm also in an organization that is built on relationship and trust. So I love it because it's very aligned.
Yeah, and that is good to important to add to it that, like you said, but that doesn't mean you should be naive either.
No, never.
Because if you trust everyone, you'll be abused. Right?
No.
So,
Yes.
but
It's
that also
discerning.
takes, the discernment in advance. Okay, so you need to be able to this. I mean, I like Nietzsche when he said, I don't mind being deceived. I like no. What is I don't mind being deceived. I let myself be deceived, so I don't have to be on my guard against deceivers. Right? It's like when you accept it, but that takes a certain kind of elevation of your detachment from expecting something from someone, right? Because like there will be people who will like exploit, and it's like fair enough. Like you can pick at my wealth, like my benevolence or whatever. Like you can pick on it. Fine, if that makes you happier that you got something for free or whatever, like fine. But every now and then it's gonna happen. But it's your job really to own that, right? As well as
yes. And we could talk forever because I could go into what you were saying, expectations, because at the end expectations are from the mind, and when you are in the now, in the being, you don't have expectations because you're not looking forward. No.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the transience of the time we're in, and like when we do business even, we meet people like this, and people will like take advantage sometimes, and it also conditions us to, okay, so you have to train yourself to just care less and less and less, and that actually conditions us to have less and less expectations, because it's just economically, emotionally more sound approach. So all of that, and yeah, and having people who actually it's great to, like I've been doing business for myself, working for myself, like now just over 2 years, and there are some people that just stay, they just stay. Other people take off, but like those who stay, like stay. And it's not like you don't need a contract agreement, like clauses, no, like that just scares people away. They don't have to do it. So, but then when you get the right people, they really see the value. And those and it's good to realize that we are still used to having jobs, and it's like, yeah, because that's secure. Is like, yeah, it's nice to have that base, but I think the mindset of you can't trust anyone just in case, it's not helpful. It's not gonna get you long term, because it's much better to like get out there, be vulnerable, and then realize that there's actually much more inherent trust than you had expected.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That we humans, we're pretty decent in general when we connect with the right people. When we meet with the right person, there's less incentive for exploitation than for relation, right?
Yes.
Because we do care about healthy, relating healthily.
Relationship.
Especially now, because there's so much of the opposite going on that people are really fed up.
Then we care more, and that's why this conversations, you and me now, and you meeting with other ones, me meeting with other ones, and networking, building relationships. Because even if you are in another place, now you're here with me, we're creating a relationship that stays long. We're nurturing each other, and it's because we're talking from the heart. We're here, so it's not like a business relationship that it's okay, shaking hand, bye bye. No, it's really something that stays in us because we related with each other. We had a trading, we had a heart to heart connection, which is staying, and it will grow into who knows what, which is
Right. It's
so
not
beautiful.
tainted. It's not tainted by transactional
No.
content. It's simply enjoying the moment. Yeah.
Yes. So Adam, thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank you
too.
so
It was
much,
great.
and we will surely co-create again and meet. And I really
Definitely.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you so
likewise.
much.
And yeah, all the best with the other guests, and see you online again.
Thank you.
Cheers. Bye.
Cheers.